Okay, guys, let's see this very interesting pattern for authentication in Angular that saves a lot of time and logic for the front end. Here we have one component that has 3 buttons: login, logout, and fetch data. And we're displaying the protected data after it has been fetched. In the TypeScript part, we have one service as well as one component where whenever we click on the buttons, we're subscribing to the service and we are issuing the status in the console as if we are logged in or logged out. In case we have a result from the protected data URL, we're displaying it in the component. Okay, so this is for the component. It accesses the service that actually goes and fetches those from certain PHP resources. And of course, this is a very simplified example. We are assuming that, for example, in the login PHP file, the user is always logged in. Of course, you can create a sample login page here. The main point is that all the authentication is being performed on the server side. And whenever this happens, we are starting a session for the user that uniquely identifies our user. And also we are setting up our user into a session variable that will be carried through the requests. For the logout, we are just deleting this session and displaying logout successful as a JSON message to Angular. The third part of the pattern is the data.php part, where we are again starting the session in order to access the data for the current user. And we are checking if the session is valid and if we are logged in. Otherwise, we are authorizing the user and we create a JWT token. This we do because we would like to access a protected resource, which can be in another microservice, for example, using this token. And this microservice will be stateless, so it will not preserve any state of whether the user is logged in or not. So let's see how we create the token. We're creating the secret key, all the timings here, as well as the expiration time. And we are setting the subject of the token. And inside of the payload, we are also setting our user information from the session. Then we are encoding everything from the payload. And we are ready, together with a custom header, to send requests towards the microservice. And we're doing this with this file get contents, quite simplified. We're just setting requests towards the protected resource, and we are sending the context consisting of the custom header, so as the JWT token inside. If the request is performed correctly, we are returning in a form of JSON the data that has been fetched from the service. Let's see now the role of the protected resource. Again, here we have the same secret. Of course, you can use environmental variable for keeping the same secret between the services. And here in the microservice, we just have one task to ensure that the JWT token is valid. So we are doing this, we're checking the headers, then we check if the token is malformed. Afterwards, if everything is correct, we are decoding the token in order to grab the subject out of it. And when we have the subject or our user, we are sending the message back out of the service consisting the user. Of course, we have checks for errors in case we cannot decode the token or it's expired. Once again, the beauty of this method is that first off, we are having very light communication between Angular and PHP, where the Angular is not handling the authentication. Everything is transformed to this PHP part where we are creating the sessions. And from there on, we're passing JWT token towards the microservices. And the microservices are not required to keep session for the particular user. So they are stateless. They perform their task. They verify the provided token and return information back to the requested source. Of course, this is very simple, contrived example. You can expand it and benefit from it because it eliminates quite a lot of the attacks that the front-end authentication is being subjected to. All right, if you have enjoyed the information, I advise you to try the pattern and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.